Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking Course. I'm Chef Todd Mohr. We are in the back of the house tonight where we keep all our cool stuff. And I've gone over knife skills before, I've gone over knives to have in your kitchen. We've done pots and pans, but I realize there's all kinds of other things that you can have in your drawers in your kitchen that you need the right tools to apply your cooking method to. So I figured we'd just go over some of the tools and equipment that we have in the kitchen. It's probably going to be bigger here in the commercial kitchen than it'll be in your house, but same things apply. First and foremost, some of the mechanical items that you might need. I know that when we talk about knife skills, and they're so important because you want to cut things consistently so that they cook consistently, have consistent eye appeal, consistent texture, and so on. No matter how good you are with your knife, you're not going to be able to liquefy something. So one of the first mechanical items that I would recommend is a Cuisinart, a food processor of some type. This will liquefy and puree things. That's a great mechanical item to have in your kitchen as well. And my handy dandy KitchenAid mixer. You know, when you're making breads and we're doing yeast doughs or even whipping up potatoes, or especially if you ever try to make whipped cream without an electric mixer, either the handheld kind or a stand kind. Imagine trying to whisk cream for, oh God, I did that in culinary school, and you get that one huge bicep from whisking cream. So a KitchenAid mixer is going to help you make mashed potatoes and whipped cream and things like that. Those are our plug them into the wall mechanical things. Now let's talk about some of the hand tools. I'm just going to go down the rack. Things to have in your kitchen. Rubber spatulas to have in your kitchen. This is great to scrape stuff out of bowls. Don't waste that batter. You went through all that trouble making those muffins. Scrape every little bit of it out of the bowl there for you. This one is not heat sensitive. Generally ones with a red handle or with a red tip will be heat resistant. They won't melt in your pan. And you know, if you have Teflon pans and you're doing eggs, this is the type of thing you need not to scratch your pans. Some pastry brushes, excellent for egg washing things, for wiping things with butter when you're going to bake it, or applying sauces in a very slight manner rather than pouring them. You can wipe things on them as well. I have a box grater up here. This is a great item. Great item, a grater item for grating your cheeses and stuff like that. Some strainers or colanders. I have small ones. I also have rather large ones for my big batches of spaghetti. And even when we steam 10, 15, 20, 40 pounds of potatoes at a time, a large colander like that, you won't need one that large. Small strainers for straining rices and pastas and stuff like that. It didn't go back there, but this thing is really cool. This is an industrial size one, but we call this a spider. And a spider is a mesh scoop for taking your steamed dumplings out of water or items that you would boil. A spider is a good idea in your kitchen. A series of tongs, different size tongs are excellent. Longer ones for the grill when the heat is really high. You don't want to stick your hand over it. Shorter ones maybe just for taking toast out of the toaster. I use my tongs for everything in my house. Always using tongs so that I don't burn my hands. I can take sheet pans out of the oven or turn them around with my tongs. I don't have to worry about putting the gloves on and things like that. Some whisks, and boy, there are all different kinds of sizes of whisks. Here's our industrial whisks, and I was talking about in a big bowl of things. Notice the overhand grip. A lot of people whisking things like this. This is really tough on your elbow, tough on your shoulder. Try an underhand grip this way. It works a little bit better. But certainly our large whisks for our industrial operation. But in your home, you may have a much smaller balloon whisk like this. Whisks are meant for not only incorporating items in a smooth fashion, but also for whipping air into things. And anytime you want to do a little bit more than stirring, you actually want to whip air into it, you can try some of these smaller whisks. When I make small batches of roux at home, these are invaluable as well. We've also got some spoons and slotted spoons. Certainly good for serving and for the items that might have a very watery gravy where we want to pick our bits of beef or chicken out of there. A slotted spoon would do well for you also. I've got my mallet here for pounding chicken flat. This part of it, just grind that off. If you got a grinder in your garage, just grind that off. I hope you're not buying meat that is so tough that you have to massacre it with these things. The flat side is good. A mallet for pounding chicken, pounding veal, pounding protein products into a consistently flat shape. Over here I have two other things that are really interesting. This is called china cap. And you can see much larger holes on a china cap. This is a similar strainer to our colanders. But here is a really cool item. This is called chinois. The chinois is a very fine mesh, and if you ever do a pureed soup, like at the holidays I do a red pepper puree, the fine mesh on here, rather than the large holes in the china cap or even your basic strainer, this mesh helps you further puree things as you mash it through it. These things are available. This is one of the things that's a commercial product that I would recommend for someone's home kitchen. It's a wonderful product for making your sauces that much more smooth. We have a series of mixing bowls here of all different sizes. You should have a series of mixing bowls. Let me put my hand down and they get each time I pick them up. Have a series of mixing bowls to mix and combine your items also. So when you do your mise en place, you're putting all your ingredients together. Little ramekins help. This is what you see on the Food Network TV where they got some guy in the back chopping them and put them all in here. Be your own guy in the back. Mise en place. Get everything together before you start your procedure. Of course, a spatula is going to help you take flat things off sheet pans. This is an offset spatula. This is mostly used for baking, but really good for spreading maybe mashed potatoes on a cottage pie. And the offset fashion of it allows you to get the spatula into the casserole dish without getting your fingers in there as well. A series of, well, it's a noisy episode, a series of portion scoops of all different sizes. These are great for making consistent cookies, for making croquettes, for portioning out items that would have that round dome on your plate. A series of different size portion scoops is always a good idea to have in the kitchen. Now we move over to the baking side, and of course you want to have a rolling pin for laying out your doughs and stuff like that. We certainly need a muffin cup, muffin tin when we do popovers or any kind of muffins, and certainly a sheet pan for our basic baking. One of the great things in baking, yes ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the handy dandy Savor Hospitality bowl scraper. It slices, it dices, it cuts thousands of julienne fries in seconds. If you want one, I'll send you one. Send me an email. But the bowl scraper does well also. Don't forget your measuring devices. I've told you I'm not a big fan of recipes, but at some point you're going to have to figure out 50-50 ratio. Measuring cups, measuring spoons. A biscuit cutter, great for cutting doughs, but also great for forming rice, or forming polenta, or forming some kind of meal into a nice plate presentation. Your basic biscuit cutter is great to have also. We can't forget about our can opener, where we have to open cans, obviously, one item. Don't get the electric can opener with a knife sharpener on it. Those things will ruin your knives. How about a pastry bag and some pastry tips for piping out potatoes, dauphinoise potatoes, Duchess potatoes, or for whipped creams or ice creams or filling crepes. A pastry bag is a great thing to get to use. A nice casserole dish also for baking some au gratin type items covered with breadcrumbs. And I like my little tiny little baby offset spatula. This works really well, especially in baking, decorating cakes. At the very end, oh, is there anything left? Yes, as a matter of fact. Last and importantly, to go back to your knife skills, get yourself a sharpening stone. Don't worry about the electric can opener with the grinder on the back. That's going to grind the heck out of your knives. Use your sharpening stone very gently, very correctly, in a precise manner to sharpen your blade. So there's just a catalog list of some of the things that you can have in your kitchen as well that will help you out. Especially important, I'd say, that people don't have in their homes are the portioning devices. Most importantly, either a spring scale to portion your items, or my favorite is my digital scale. Digital scale is great because you lay this thing down, you push it and it goes 0. You put something in there and then you push the button again and it says 0. That's your So whether you are portioning chicken breast for before you cook it, or whether you're very sensitive to the portions that you're giving your family, you're weighing things after it's cooked, before it goes on the plate. And I know I'm going to have episodes on that because that is a real pet peeve of mine, the huge portions that Americans eat and the amount of money that you waste on it. I know we're going to be talking about that, but very importantly, get yourself a scale. Get yourself a digital scale and know the exact portions that you're going to prepare for your family. We've got all kinds of other stuff to talk about. Stock up your kitchen. Get the right tools for your particular cooking likes and dislikes. The right tools will get you the right job better. And I'm not saying you got to run out and buy all this stuff at once, but think about, as you're cooking, some of the items that you may need. Make a mental note and go get them in the future. Don't practice fine cooking. Practice and watch Cooking Coarse.